Hi everyone, it's Clyde at Vibrant Soap, and today I'm going to be making a restock of my San Diego Avocado Soap. It looks like this, and I'll be showing you how I added that wiping of gold on there. I don't know what to say. It's not quite a swirl, but it looks like a paintbrush painted that on. Now I'll be demonstrating how I do that, and also talk about how I got this bar to look like this, because it took many trials and different batches until I figured out that I had to make the green a little stronger, because with the addition of the real avocado, which made it a nice luxurious thick lather, it did interfere with the color. I think there's a little bit of browning involved, so if I didn't add enough of the green color, it wouldn't compensate for the soap turning a little brown. So this time I finally got it right, and sometimes with experience you have to go through all that before you get it exactly the way you want it. So the last video with the making of the lemon lime sublime soap talked about how do you make the decision on whether to tweak an idea, or do you try to improve it, do you keep it the same? Well, this is an example of a soap that I wasn't quite happy with 100%, but the recipe is worth the look of what I was going for. So let's get started with the video. So I'm going to talk about today the idea of scumbling or dry brush technique when it comes to art, but it has its place, I think, in getting a really nice gradual color change effect in your soaps too. Not so much within the soap, but on the surface of the soap. But I'm going to show you these pictures first. Today specifically I'm talking about combining gold with green. You can see that in quite a few places in your own yard probably. Some pictures of some succulents and the little Mexican lime tree out in front of my house. You can see these gold colors combined with the green. It might not be a metallic, but just the same, this orangey bright color next to green works really well, and often that gets my ideas going for a layer of gold on top of green. But gold and green is not the only combination that looks great. Gold looks great with just about every color, because you can treat gold as a neutral, and it's particularly good if you're not combining it with a lot of other colors. So let's go back to this palette of all these different colors. I used my watercolors to do that ahead of time, because it's not too interesting to see me put them on the screen. But I did it for a reason. I'm going to use two different other materials. This is watercolor right here, but I also have this oil pastel in gold. And the media has to be able to hold the metallic particles that make things look gold. So that's why this is a good choice. And I just want to show you what happens with this. Is kind of like a dry brush technique, and I knew that about oil pastels, is you see the bits of color show up through the color of gold, and that's what we call scumbling in art language. So I want to show you how that works there. I'll do some close-ups of that right now, just to kind of show you. It's hard to see it in detail, but if we zoom in on this yellow right here, you can see how where that yellow peeks through the gold. It's beautiful. You're not completely covering over that color. You're letting that color peek out through the gold. And I think the use of gold in this way is even more successful the darker the color is, the deeper the value of that color is. Because look at this orange peek through the gold here. It's a great effect. So I'm thinking of using a gold drizzle, mica drizzle on top of a bright orange soap, for example. Same idea with the red. Seeing that bit of intense red poke through that gold is beautiful. Here's the purple. And you see, I didn't have to really work too hard for this scumbling idea to take place. I just made sure that I had a media that would not completely obliterate the color. Show you if I can, see if I can show you what happens if I obliterate that. If I rub back and forth, I get rid of that scumbling idea. Right there, you can just basically see the darkness of the color through that. But I'm talking about the pure color poking through that gold is the idea of scumbling or dry brush. Gold with blue is really beautiful too. Today I'm going to show you more detail with gold over green, but just a simple green like this with gold over, it's beautiful. Even works with brown. So if you're making a coffee soap or some chocolate soap with gold over it, it's really beautiful. And you can do it with black, of course. There's a harmony here because they're both neutrals, considered neutrals. Gold with black though really makes the orangey part of the gold stand out. So I'm going to show you now that same technique with a gold acrylic paint. So I squirt out some gold acrylic paint to do in the same way. I'm going to just do this really fast, a fast pass through my colors. And if I do that like that, I get the same effect as I did with the oil pastel. In other words, I'm letting the colors underneath still shine through. But I said we're going to specifically talk about green. So I already know in my soap today that I'm going to have several kinds of green. I'm going to have a bluish green and a yellow green combined, as well as some dark brown, some brown that I added some black to. And this is what you're going to see in my soap today. You're going to see me do a gold drizzle on top, but I'm only going to put it on pretty lightly because I know I'm going to use a spoon to texture the top and just partially blend it in. And then you're going to see these really graduated colors in the top of the avocado soap today. I'm going to show you what happens if I kind of obliterate all that green. Now why would I do that? But just to show you, it's a totally different look. So as I said, it's going to look a little bit more contrasty, if that's a word, over the darker of the greens. So you can see that. And not as much contrast over the lighter green. There's also some of this dark brown in this particular soap. So there's all of that. There's the idea of the mica drizzle and why you don't want to add too much of that drizzle on top of the soap. If you have probably a third to maybe a half of the surface covered with drips of that mica drizzle and then spread it with a spoon, then you're going to get this great effect. You're going to see in some of my soap tops, there's even a like ombre effect, and I'm using that term as far as a kind of gradual change from deeper gold and fading into the green real slightly. You can do that with a drizzle, but it's very hard to do an ombre without a delineation between the colors in an ombre soap when you're pouring it in layers. So there's the color tutorial, and let's get on with the making of the avocado soap. Okay, so I already have my pureed avocado and cream in with the oils, clay, sodium lactate. So I pureed the avocado before I added it to the oil, but this is a great time to blend it as well as I can because now that it's suspended in more oil, I can make sure that that is pureed really well. That looks nice and smooth. So now I'm going to add the lye. And the silk. I'm going to add my fragrance. It's a great blend. It's got a little bit of, without giving too much away, it's got some nice green and citrus and it's a nice round fragrance. I really like it. It's what you would imagine avocado fruit would smell like if it had a great smell. Okay, so that's emulsified. And I've got two different kinds of green. I've got one that's more of a bright avocado green. And split it evenly between the two greens, because avocado fruit, the flesh of it, has a nice variation of green. Just one little of this, like a dark brown with some orangey tones, and an off green mixed. What you shouldn't usually do is mix an orange and a green together, but I wanted a rich brown, and with the rest of this I'm going to add it back to the greens. You've seen me make this before as well, but I'm always altering the design a bit so it keeps it a little more new and updated. And that's a great color. This is the color that I added the orange to, and I wanted to make sure that it didn't muddy that down, so it still looks like a nice olive green. Okay, so I have my original pot that I did the mixing in, and that's where I'm going to combine everything before I pour it in my slab mold. So it's going to be this, and I better stir this first, because once it's mixed together, if I stir it, all the colors will combine, and I know there's air bubbles in there. And these greens will morph, as they always do. Hopefully they'll morph into something that I really like. Okay, so let's get this poured. And all this is an improvised in the pot swirl. And pouring from up above so that there's some natural swirls that develop, you know. And the natural avocado in there speeds things up a little bit, but I just got a shipment at the door and had to run away, so I didn't. It gave me a little less time, but it'll be fine. I think I'll leave a little bit of this for the top. Give this a little swirl. Get this brambleberry mold that I really love. Pour it in there. Used to get some orange in this design, but I think I'm going to give that up. It interfered with the illusion of avocado. Okay, one of the final steps is to take a spoon and make a nice wavy texture. Get the soap in the corners. Just going to loosely do this to make sure that the soap is flat. There's a lot of bulk in the center of this. And then here's my gold drizzle. And drizzle more than I usually do. And then I'm going to spoon it again. And the reason why I wanted a lot in those drips is I really wanted to almost hide the green below. That really does look like avocado under there. And the last step is to put the dividers in. And then give it a good spraying of alcohol. And there is the avocado soap. So I'll come back and I'll take it out of the mold. Okay, let's unmold this. I love this mold. Comes out so easily. Wish I could describe this scent of these avocado bars a little better, but they're just really hard to describe. But they smell like a mix of citrus and green scent. So these will usually slip right out of the dividers. And they gelled, so they'll come out real nice. That's how I wanted this to look, with the gold sort of hiding what's underneath to some extent. And I still have to miter the edges on these. Nice thick bars. I have to say, out of all my soap bars, that the addition of the avocado puree makes these a real creamy lather. So it's one of my favorite soaps to use. And if you look back at my previously made California avocado soaps, or golden avocado, you'll see that these are a little thicker, but you'll also see that the green is richer green, and that just comes with experience and time. So I always felt that possibly the avocado puree interfered with the green, so I made this a little stronger, and I think it's perfect. That's how I'm gonna keep making it from now on. Try to include all the colors that I see when I look at an avocado, because up near the skin of the avocado you get a deeper color, and the skin is almost black sometimes. I have to say that's a good avocado color. If you like what you see, I hope you'll subscribe to this Vibrant Soap channel, and check out my Instagram too. That's where I take photos in addition to soap making, all the things that I see and take photos of that inspire my eye for things like painting and soap making. So hope to see you there too. Thanks for watching, everybody. Happy New Year, and we'll see you later. Bye.